Our world is moving faster than ever. A growing population creates a higher demand for energy, natural resources, food and clean water, and consumer goods. Developing countries are growing exponentially. The number of people driving cars is constantly growing, which creates a higher demand for fuel. It is a challenge to supply reliable electricity to a growing population. People expect access to better health care. They want safe medications to help them live longer, healthier lives. Today's ships need to carry more freight faster to meet consumer demand. The world is changing quickly. How can our industry keep up with these changes? How can you do more with less and continue to meet growing demands? Projects are larger than ever before, and executing them brings many challenges. Boundaries exist all around us. How can we overcome boundaries such as geography, language, time, project size, and access to information? Information is needed in real time to make better decisions to ensure safety, quality, and productivity.
The technology has gotten more complex. It's needed to respond to more complex projects, larger projects, work sharing, geographic distribution.
The industry has been active in the last few years in areas of integrating our solutions within the EPC business and delivering data solutions to our clients in turnover.
Types of projects we're experiencing these days are very large, very complex projects with multiple EPCs and multiple clients. That's putting a new aspect into how we use our tools and how we use our automation products.
Today's technology helps our industries overcome these boundaries by providing our industries an easier way to improve quality, boost productivity, and ensure safety. You can leverage technology to offer better services, resources, and products to keep up with growing demand.
We've made the decision to move our asset document and data to a system that enables integration of our design processes and configuration control processes. The approach should enable staff to get access to information needed in a very efficient way.
We need to be able to manage change with a single solution that manages real-time information in terms of engineering, procurement, progress measurement, and project management.
We're focusing very, very heavily on a data-centric engineering environment. And to that end, we're utilizing the Smart Plant Foundation as our core, and then all the other products around that.
Intergraph Process Power and Marine is the acknowledged world's leading provider of enterprise engineering software, enabling smarter design and operation of plants, ships, and offshore facilities. At the forefront of technological advancements, Intergraph consistently delivers next-generation solutions to meet challenges, making boundaries that were previously huge obstacles seem insignificant. Intergraph helps you go beyond boundaries and create the future of engineering today.
As one of our key technology suppliers, Intergraph has factored significantly into our ability to deliver. We work with Intergraph's technical user forums, as well as we're jointly developing some projects with Intergraph.
The idea is to have smart plant construction ready to integrate all these departments with the necessary agility and allow us to access information easily in a 3D model, which makes our management activities much easier.
The old model just doesn't work. We require an increased level of support from vendors like Intergraph to help these systems work together, to help us troubleshoot issues that may originate in systems which we don't have experience with, or that may use other third-party tools but are still required to execute the job.
From modern engineering marvels to everyday operations, Intergraph is helping our customers do more than ever before. Design efficiently, build smarter, operate safely, achieve more. Go beyond boundaries.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Intergraph's Process, Power, and Marine Division President, Gerhard Sallinger.
I'm glad you
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a good evening yesterday. Good. So, this morning, we'll give you a quick overview about what PP&M is doing. My part in that is minor. I just give you some boring figures. The real stuff is coming after me when we show you some new technology and new products we developed. Okay. So, go beyond boundaries is the word of this year. What does that mean? Well, we are working very hard to help our customers, help you, to overcome the challenges you face through more complex and bigger global projects. We want to eliminate limits of geography, language, time, and project size through new technologies like the cloud and others. The same, we want to help you to access information at real time, everywhere, regardless in which country or region you are and work. A few highlights of PP&M from last year. We reached a record revenue. I'll show you the details a little bit later. In the meanwhile, PP&M employs more than 2,200 people worldwide. Our R&D investment did reach a new record and another record this year. Our product portfolio is broader than ever before. But this year, there is a couple of new releases and new products coming to the market. You will hear more in the next 15 minutes or so. So more and broader and more powerful in general. Our revenue did reach and broke the $500 million barrier. Since 2004, so 10 years ago, it's 3.5 times higher than it has been at this time and still climbing. And again, I want to say one thing. I said that last year and the year before, but I want to repeat it. We know that this money is your money. It's your money. You pay us for the products, but it is a signal of your trust in our solution, in our company. And we know that and will not forget it. And we thank you for this. We continue to grow our R&D investment. It will reach in this year approximately $75 million, more than ever, more than any other company in that business and industry. If you look at our business and revenue last year, you see here clearly that our business is very well balanced around the globe. It's not focused or concentrated just in one region, but it is almost even in Asia Pacific and China, Europe, Middle East and Africa, and North and South America. Well, if you would remember this slide from last year and see the difference, you would see that the Americas now took the first place, and the reason is simple. Specifically, North America last year had a record year with record growth, despite all challenges due to economy, etc., but was really, really great. This year, Asia Pacific, so far in the first 4 or 5 months, is the leading, from a growth perspective, the leading region. So we'll see how that looks next year. But in general, very well-balanced business, a true international business. And again, thank you for that trust. In this year, we did acquire a new company which is developing a product which is named GT Strudel. GT Strudel is a structural analysis system. When I did study chemical engineering, I already heard about that software. I didn't use it, but I heard it. So it's around since a long while, but it's a very strong solver and product, and we bought them. What we are doing now is to optimize and upgrade its user interface, as well as some additional functionality. It's widely used specifically in the nuclear industry, also in the civil engineering and the offshore industry, and I would recommend that you might have a look at that. We will integrate it in the Intergraph portfolio, so it's really will be great stuff. We bought that and completed the acquisition in February. Another company, a little bigger thing we acquired recently, just in May, is a company based in Ireland named HxGN. HxGN is around since 9 or 10 years now, and as the name is saying, they are focused and specialized on hosting services. They did that in the past, let's say with normal network, based on normal network connections. Since about 2 years, they work with us on a cloud base. And they have about 50 people, high-level specialists on the network and cloud and hosting and so, and they are a cornerstone of our Smart Plant Cloud initiative. They have currently, and we will hear more later in a few minutes, 4 server farms, 2 in Ireland, 1 in Tokyo, 1 in New York. More server farms and places will be added in the course of the year in Europe, the Middle East, Australia. That's already defined, and it will grow, and they are really, really good. So I think this is a very strategic thing, helping us to offer premium services and performance over the cloud. Tough groups, technical user forums. This is now based on LinkedIn, and the first time we did reach the number of 10,000 users using it, and it's really, really growing. So you see, in December we reached the 10,000 users mark. In the meanwhile, I believe we are more than 11,000 already. So it's still growing dynamically fast. So that's it already. I said the interesting thing is coming now. So I would like to have Melanie Eakes, Charles Evans, and Patrick Holcomb to come on stage and show you the newest and greatest we have. Thank you. Hey, Charles.
Thanks, Gerhard.
Hey.
Good morning. Let's show you a little bit today about how you can go beyond boundaries using our solutions. And let's start with design.
The engineering tools are the information factory of the project, and they're the key part to getting the information from the concept design through to procurement and construction, and finally over into the owner-operator world. We work with our people, our processes, and our technologies to find innovative ways to meet the expectations of our clients. These are demanding expectations, both in project schedule and cost, but also in the delivery of the final product. And we're working with people like Intergraph to come up with good solutions that are able to meet those demands.
I'd like to start by talking about one of the most important industry trends, and that's modular design reuse. And let's look at it in a highly collaborative environment. Many of our customers have standardized on Smart 3D and are using MDR. Last year, we talked about Bantrel. They're a company that's owned by Bechtel in Canada. We also talked about Saipem, who's using MDR on very, very large projects to save a lot of time and money. Today, we'd like to talk about Petrobras. They are standardizing on Smart 3D for a massive collaborative project. Let's look closer at this FPSO project. There are 8 hulls that are similar with 6 different topsides and 80 modules. Please be sure to go see the session Thursday in room 313. These 6 FPSOs are very similar, and they're numbered from 66 to 71. And let's take a look at the contracting strategy that they've employed. First, the hull design and construction was given to Ecovix. And then they had 3 integration contractors whose responsibility is to design and construct some of the topside modules and integrate the hulls from Ecovix, including a partnership of Keppel FELS and Promon, another one of Mendez Jr. and OSX, and the Jurong Shipyard. The topside module design and construction were further subdivided into these EPCs, ESA, Tomei, and TKK. Now, here's where major design reuse comes into play. The same model was used in global workshare between Ecovix and Keppel FELS. And you can see that Keppel FELS Promon designed one of those modules. ESA, Tomei, and TKK worked on their respective designs through global workshare on the same database. And now here's where it really starts to get interesting. The second FPSO from Promon and Keppel FELS, Ecovix copied their design into the new model. And then Promon used MDR to replicate the entire topside model to the second FPSO. Ecovix uses their design for OSX Mendez Jr. The EPCs use MDR to create their models for the integration contractors. And those contractors use MDR to create their second vessels based on that MDR. You can see here that the combination of having global workshare and MDR together, working together, is really, really efficient for our customers. The P666 FPSO is currently under construction. The image on the left is from Promon, and it's of the topside. And the image on the right is from Ecovix, and it's an SPR model that's imposed on the photo of the yard where it's being built today. What's behind all of this is Smart 3D with global workshare and model data reuse. And that's allowing our customers to manage the risk in these massive collaborative design projects. Rogero Pinto of Promon reiterates how important Smart 3D is to saving man-hours and ensuring consistency.
So today, EPCs, several of them anyway, still switch 3D design system from project to project. Sometimes they switch because of a particular project type. Maybe it's offshore and oil and gas, and they switch between those two. Sometimes they switch because they have a particular location that got the job, and they have expertise in a specific system. Or sometimes they switch because that's what the owner is requesting, is a particular deliverable. All those are historic reasons why they kept multiple systems. But is that really necessary today? What we saw last night was the Red Bull race team. It was pretty incredible. You know, if you blinked, you missed it. They had a pit stop, and because everybody was focused on that one type of car, it was unbelievable. They set record time at that pit stop. What if you suddenly changed their car out? Do you really think that they're going to be as performant? Definitely not. Instead, they remained and have a focused expertise on a single car type. And that is what allows them to optimize their people and their work processes to get the very highest and best performance possible. They have that continuous improvement that they use on these cars from race to race and year to year, and they get better and better at it. Today, again, EPCs have multiple 3D systems. That is definitely going to increase your cost. Why? One case is just purchasing the software itself, you know, whether you're leasing it and buying licenses or the cost of the software. Additionally, you've got to train people on that, and that's ongoing training cost. Many people don't invest in additional follow-up training, but you really should, because we're adding capability all the time. And so if you aren't getting that follow-up training, you're missing something. Also, you have IT costs that go up, because for each one of those platforms, you're going to have your own internal systems that you need to integrate with, which means you're going to be having to create all of those integrations yourself, and you're going to have to maintain those going forward. So you're doing multiple of those all the time. Additionally, unlike racing teams, you have your best people spread across multiple 3D platforms. That means you're really not getting the efficiency opportunities out of all of your people, like defining the best rules for your system, getting automation in place, optimizing your work practices, and also that continuous improvement that you can get from all of your global organization, really focusing on one set of tools. But if you focus on Smart 3D as your single design platform, you can change that. Your costs will go down, your efficiency and your experience and your knowledge are going to be able to go up, and this is from a global perspective. And you're going to have opportunities for a lot more success than you've ever had in the past. Smart 3D as your single design system, along with SmartPlant Interop and our export capabilities, if you use those three things together, you can join other people that have made that switch. Agility Group, they've been here, they made the switch to a single design system about 4 years ago. They've spoken at this conference every year for the past several years and told you of their experience. Last year, Lindy from Germany spoke. They used Smart 3D as their detailed design, but then they handed over in a different format to the owner-operator at the end of the project. And this year, you're going to be hearing from Clough, who has made the decision to switch to Smart 3D, and they started that last year. Clough's portfolio of products and expertise consisted of a number of products that you see listed. Like many of you, Clough wanted to leverage their existing data and designs while moving to Smart 3D at a pace that worked for their organization. In their first project that they took on, they actually received the feed model from a different EPC that actually used a different design system. Now, in this case, the delivery did not include things like specs and those types of things, so they weren't able to do a full translation. But they were able to use SmartPlant Interop Publisher to leverage all of that information into Smart 3D and use it as a reference so that they could do their detailed design. Additionally, they use legacy designs, reusing data from legacy designs, and some contractors use different tools. And again, they were able to use SmartPlant Interop Publisher to bring all of that information in, the graphics, and more importantly, the data. You know, you've invested in that data. With SmartPlant Interop Publisher, you can bring that data forward as well and use that as a reference as you continue to do design. So Clough continued to do their development of the design in SmartPlant 3D, but they were able to leverage all of that great information that they had, either from their contractors or their legacy data. So a side note, kind of, but I think it's really important. From an efficiency standpoint, the models that got converted using SmartPlant Interop Publisher, the exact data and graphics can be used directly by all of our other products. So if you're using the Enterprise, this is going to bring the cost down because you'll be able to use all of that data in all of our tools. So now that Clough had built their model in 3D or View, you can hand over to the owner in 3D, but you can also, if necessary, you can hand that information over in PDMS or PDS by using our export capabilities. And this is going to give you a lot of flexibility that, again, historically you never had the capabilities for this, but now you can do that, and you can make that decision to go to one system. So just like those racing teams that we saw, Red Bull, you can focus on a single car manufacturer, and you can focus on Smart 3D, and you can drive your efficiency up, your cost down, and ultimately an organization who's going to be able to experience a lot greater success. Clough understood the benefits of making that change and what it could do to their organization. And Paul Rushton is here. I hope you get a chance to talk to him during the conference or listen to his session.
Thank you, Melanie. One of the things that our teams have spent a tremendous amount of time on in the past few months as they prepare for the next release of Smart 3D is improving the way the automated drawings engine works, which is already unprecedented in its capability. However, we've gone further in automating the drawings engine to remove all touch-up work. Let me show you a couple of examples. First example I'll show you is quite basic. It's, the teams have worked on our white space optimization engine. And what that does is it moves all the labels and annotations out into wider space so that less touch-up is required. We had heard from users that they were spending time touching up moving annotations and labels, so now those are all automatically moved out. In addition to that, one of the major changes that was made was the full upgrade to 64-bit, and we have a 50% faster extraction now on drawings. I think if you see the new version of Smart 3D, you're going to see that there have been hundreds of small improvements made to remove these touch-up efforts, and I'd highly encourage all of you to take a look at it. Another change that we've made at the behest of many users, particularly executive management, is to begin looking at how we can reduce cost of ownership. Specifically, what we've done is we focused our UX, our user experience design teams, on the administrative functions of some of our applications. HxGN has been the first one to execute this and release. If you look at the newest version of HxGN, you'll see an entirely new administration module that is all graphically driven. It's very intuitive, so there's no typing in of secret codes or anything like that. Everything is documented within the software, so you don't need to go and read documentation. You can see graphical depictions of each different type of choice you would want. And there are many, many choices, as for those of you that deal with drawing configuration know. For example, with dimensioning, you could choose composite dimensioning or basic dimensioning or full line dimensioning. Once the administrator chooses one of those, you can actually go and apply it to the drawing, and then you can see what the change will be to determine if you would like to keep that or if you can go backwards. So now making this very easy. It doesn't require so much work from the specialist. They can focus more on the quality of what they're doing and less on how to operate the software. Likewise, another example was the way they changed the numbering. Numbering styles can be changed, again, all graphically, and then the user can simply decide if they want to commit to that or not. One of our clients, Cesar Matos, said it perfectly. They expect that their configuration costs on drawings will go down by 25%. In other words, they can do it 25% faster as a result of the investments that we've made in order to reduce cost of ownership for our clients.
Thanks, Patrick. That's really exciting. I'd like to also say that that's available in CADWorks and the drawings because they're using the HxGN system as well. And we'd like to talk a little bit about some of our customers who are using our AutoCAD-based project design systems. So just as we've removed those boundaries, we're creating intelligent tools for smaller projects as well. Recently, owner-operators told us that 90% of the projects they award are below $10 million. For these small to medium-sized projects, customers face the same pressures that the larger ones do of tight deadlines, squeezed resources. They are required to deliver high quality, on time with accuracy. In this example, Richard Design Services designed a 10,000 barrel a day facility. This was the largest renewable diesel facility in the United States, and they used CADWorks, Caesar 2, and SPI. And they were awarded the Drivers for Success Award from CADWorks. Michael Tran shared how they reduced their project engineering time by 1/3 using CADWorks. CADWorks is a great tool that has applicability in many different industries. FL Schmidt uses both Smart 3D and CADWorks on their mining projects where it's appropriate. They're also a winner of the Drivers for Success competition, and they've been working with us for many years. So they know what is the right time and the right place to use the great capabilities from CADWorks and those from Smart 3D on a project of any size. Javier Barros shares about their success with CADWorks, and the flexibility and adaptability has significantly helped them with their profit
Smart Plant Enterprise Master Tag Registry is actually a new integration product that we are releasing, that we've been working on. We think it's going to really improve your business, especially with the interest of the EPCs have shown in this product so far. This week, you're going to hear about our full vision for MTR. We're going to be releasing it in a phased approach. Currently, it is in beta with our premier partners, and we expect to release it in October of this year. I think we can all agree that managing tags and their data is critical to any project success. We also know that there are really significant challenges in doing that because project size and complexity have increased, and the timelines to get those all done have certainly shrunk. Consolidating and managing all that change is complex and time-consuming. These projects have hundreds of thousands of tags on them. They're spread across thousands of documents, passed between hundreds of people, dozens of organizations around the globe. The inconsistencies definitely increase risk. They delay your project handover, and they add cost every time. In addition, manually organizing and updating all those tags can be a real drain on your manpower at the end of the project when you don't need it. Today, there are some very difficult questions that are complex and hard for you to answer. Who owns what? Who's changed what? What tags are no longer valid or obsolete or have changed? And without consistent tag numbering, can you really track progress like you want, or manage materials, or even effectively coordinate all those changes between your departments or your disciplines? Smart Plant Enterprise Master Tag Registry is going to help you answer those questions a lot easier than ever before. Master Tag Registry collates and it organizes your tags that are created by all parties into a master registry, which becomes your single source of truth on any project. It's accurate, it's consistent, up to date, and it's accessible by everyone on the project. With our automated tag validation, you're going to be able to check for inconsistent, obsolete, and renumbered tags, and the system will help you correct those. As the enterprise is used, the handover information is collected, and it's ready for handover. Project engineers and leads can easily track their progress and the number of tags that have been created on the project. Companies like yourself actually helped us put together the business case for this and the likely savings that you're going to have by using it. If on a project of this size, you assume that you're going to have 5% of your tags done incorrectly, then the potential savings are really significant. By reducing time to correct tags, you're going to be able to save around $400,000, over $250,000 due to less time looking for tags. And because Master Tag Registry will create an automated register for you, that's estimated at $900,000. So you're really looking conservatively at a total of about $1.6 million in savings. So the story is pretty compelling.
Thank you, Melanie. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about visualization, something that Intergraph, I think, is well known for in the industry. We've worked with you for many years to create visualizations long before those real assets exist out in the field. Those have been used in a wide variety of work process, from all the way up front in pre-sales of asset concepts to executives when the project is still being sold, through design so that people would understand the overall layout of a plant or facility, operations and maintenance walkthroughs, constructability walkthroughs, and even during the operations and maintenance phase. I think it's fair to say that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I guess a good 3D visualization could easily be worth $1 million. Not that we're making any suggestions on pricing, by the way. But it is very powerful at getting lots of people to understand the same concept at the same time. And that's why we've enjoyed so much working with you on it. Now, one of the things that's happened as a result of all the work we've done, and particularly with the advent of Smart Plant Interop, which has created even more demand to create even larger visualizations, is the teams have been working to increase the performance of Smart Plant Review. The next release of Smart Plant Review, due out in Q3, will be a full 64-bit application with a 48x increase in maximum model size. So maximum model size will go from 4 gigabytes to 190 gigabytes. And that's because of the popularity of doing this type of visualization, particularly on the mega projects and projects that are using Smart Plant Interop with lots of JV partners in order to pull it all together in one place. And we can't wait to hear what you think about it. There's a beta release of this product that's available right now. So if any of you are interested in that, you can get a copy of the beta, and then we'll determine the final release date based on the feedback from the beta testers. Another area that we've been working with many of our users, and we'd heard opportunities over the years, is to have a free viewer. In other words, a light, quick viewer for just kind of the casual user to do some visualization of a plant model or laser scan. And that's why we released Smart Plant Freeview a little over a year ago. We've had over 14,000 downloads since that was released. We've had great feedback on it. Now that's a Windows-based product. And of course, as you might imagine, one of the most common requests that came after release of that was, well, this is great, couldn't we have that on an iPad? Well, we listened to you. So now, Freeview for the iPad is available on the Apple iStore. It should be available today or tomorrow. I don't know, we were neck and neck on the release date to the store. It supports the CADWorks format right now, and then in August we'll release a second version of that so that we can support all of the other formats that you're familiar with from Smart Plant and Smart Plant Interop. But we hope that you guys like that, and we look forward to hear more feedback from you about how that experience on that mobile device suits you and suits your work process. Another area where we've had some really kind of innovative success with visualization was working with a company called Brand. Now, Brand is actually not a software developer at all. They do scaffolding for a living. They're a scaffolding contractor. Now, they have an in-house system called BrandNet. BrandNet is how they do the detailed design for all their scaffolding so that when they go out in the field, they have all the right materials and everybody knows what to do. They use Smart Plant Interop so that they could work with their customers, which are main contractors, and so that they could publish those scaffold models into the master model, and then the crews can see the whole thing laid out together. So they get to see how that detailed scaffold model will fit in with the intended full-size 3D model. This is helpful for crews to be more efficient because now everybody understands how all of that's going to work together. So it makes them more efficient, and it improves safety because when everybody knows what their job is, it creates less risk out in the field.
Now let's take a look at the work that we've been doing on Smart Plant Electrical and on instrumentation. As you've seen, as Patrick talked about, we're focusing on user experience. And in particular, in the E&I area, we've worked on making things easier and more intuitive so that you can find, create, and edit data. This update has been driven by an engineering approach rather than an IT approach. So it'll speak the language that you understand. We're looking to harmonize the tasks across the different applications in the schematic suite so that you just need to learn things one way and one time. We've added a graphical query builder that, again, speaks the engineering language and allows you to quite graphically and intuitively lay out the information that you want to see. We also have extended the engineering data editor across the suite. And this provides powerful editing, searching that works just like Excel with sorting, filtering, and cut and paste. We've been listening to our electrical customers who had requirements for case management where they needed to work for safety and design reliability on different conditions. So you can now look at the startup case or the shutdown case and keep track of those. We've also added the ability to manage changes at the component level. And we continue to provide the support for analysis of your design by going through our integration with ETAP. And I'm also excited to announce a new graphical environment for Smart Plant Electrical. This graphical environment allows you to create complex deliverables and even do design reuse from legacy CAD systems. So if you have a drawing from AutoCAD or MicroStation, you can cut and paste that into Smart Plant Electrical. And then you can take those dumb graphics and you can turn them into intelligent electrical circuits. We're really excited about this whole capability and tying things together in such a way. These enhancements across the schematic suite are allowing us to focus on task-based engineering, where you can focus on specific tasks that you're working on. We provide excellent integration across all of these tools, across the schematic applications and feeding into 3D design. And to do that, we've enhanced the to-do list to make it much easier to manage the changes that you make. Because our applications are data-centric, and because we have a rules-based design engine, you can make the right decisions early and eliminate costly mistakes that could cause serious consequences downstream. One of the key differentiators of our schematic solutions is the support of parallel maintenance and capital projects. This allows you to maintain an accurate as-built definition while you scope long-term and short-term projects and work on them simultaneously. And then once those projects are complete, you can merge them back into the as-built to maintain an accurate record of what you have on the site. All of these capabilities facilitate an efficient design that ultimately drives the physical design and is used in construction and operation of the facility. This Smart 3D model that you see here was developed from SPI and SPEL and P&ID model. And then it was taken and integrated into 3D so that we could have an accurate and consistent design from initial design all the way through detailed design.
So one of the best things about this conference is getting to hear real stories from customers like yourself about how our software has helped you to improve your business. We really like that. That's one of the best things about this coming here. And one of those came from Doosan Heavy Industries. They recently used a new work process to take advantage of SmartPlant's consistency checking between SmartPlant P&ID and Smart 3D. Doosan Heavy uses capability on an extension to the Rabbi power plant in Saudi Arabia. After the project, Mr. Lee stated that by using integration, they were able to reduce errors and have much better data integrity now. And because of that, they're going to be using the consistency checking work process on future projects. So we really do understand that harmonizing your people with the work process and technology is the best way for you to gain an advantage. When you start integrating your disciplines and applications with new work processes, though, we do understand that it's not just about great software. You must have great and strong work processes. And sometimes that work process definition and actually changing your organization can be the most difficult part. We do understand that, and we began writing and distributing work processes to go along with our software in 2011. Now, we did that not only for you, but we did it for ourselves as well, because that's how we test our software. We test it in real-type workflows so that we know, we understand what we're creating and how it's going to work. We are the only software company in our industry to publish documents of this type. We have over 30 of those now, and they range from process design all the way through work package planning. You can find these on our Smart Support website. To date, we have over 10,000 downloads, and we've been told that they really do make a difference to you. So if you haven't checked those out, I would suggest that you have someone pull those for you and you take a look at those.
Our biggest difficulty here is the fact that we're implementing 3 large projects in Itabira. We started our technological innovation with SysGraph in 2009 when we accepted the challenge of implementing these projects. At first, we started adopting SmartPlant enterprise solutions like Smart 3D, SmartPlant Instrumentation, SmartPlant P&ID. Currently, we are getting all the information from many departments, and we are working to have total integration. It is a huge challenge that we are facing, but we can handle it, and we are already seeing its results.
As many of you know about our vision, we aspire to be something much greater than just a CAD provider. We think that we can serve the entire life cycle of that virtual information asset. And one of the areas where we've put a lot of focus and energy working with clients like yourselves is in construction. We all work together with a great amount of input from many different companies to bring out smart plant construction. We launched that in 2009 during one of the world's largest recessions, which was not the best timing for us. But despite that tough start, we've actually seen tremendous success ever since then. The one thing that we've learned as we've spoken with many constructor companies around the world is that they're very interested on the fundamental question about time on tools. In other words, how much time on a project are the craft people actually using the tools they're supposed to use to construct rather than doing other things? There have been many field time surveys that have looked at this problem. They all say approximately the same thing, which I will summarize here. About a third of the time of construction personnel is spent on direct work time or tool time, using welders or paint machines or cranes or whatever it is that they were supposed to be using to construct the job for the client. Approximately another third of the time is what they call variable time. This is everything else. So it could be getting safety permits, safety training, logistics to and from the job, moving materials around, all of those kinds of things, break time, all of those kinds of things are variable time, which are required for the job and may change somewhat from job to job or client to client. But disturbingly, another approximate third of all construction personnel time is spent idle and waiting. Now, all of that idle and wait time could be converted from idle time to profit. And that's what the constructors really want to get, is how they can improve that so they can shorten project schedules and turn that idle time into profit. We've been working with many constructors around the world to get a view of what does it take exactly to do that, to improve efficiency of execution. By far, the first thing that everyone tells us, every executive, is they really need to execute efficiently day to day. And what that means is that every work crew has to have the information they need, the materials they need, the tools and resources they need, all at one place with the correct expectations and ready to go at the right time. Without that basic capability, efficiency is extremely difficult to improve. The next thing they'll tell you, particularly for those who have some experience or seasoning out in the field in construction, is that you've got to be able to dynamically optimize. Everybody in construction knows things happen. Materials don't show up, materials are mislabeled, cranes break down, people don't show up. There's all sorts of things that happen, and so the on-site crews have to be able to dynamically optimize to make sure that they are making the best use of the resources they have every single day in order to reduce that idle and wait time and improve results for their clients. Third, you've got to be able to track progress. Now, tracking progress is critical for a couple of reasons. The first one is usually constructors get paid on some basis of progress, so constructors care about progress tracking a great deal. The second reason you need to do that is because without an accurate view of progress, it's very easy for an executive to become lulled into a false sense of security until late in the project when it's too late to make changes, and then they find out where they really are versus the optimistic reports they had in the past. So tracking progress is important. And then finally, documentation. I've got lots of good things to say about construction people. I've worked on construction sites myself in the past. They're usually really good at construction. Documentation is usually not the sweet spot or the strong suit of construction people. And that's where Smart Plant Construction helps by pulling all the documentation together in one place in a simple, easy to use format so that we have it the right way and we have our standard documents and we have it all organized. And this really helps the result of the project in the end. Now, that's one thing to talk about the technology concepts, but I think people must ask, so what's happening in reality since the launch in 2009? How many people are really doing this? Well, we're very encouraged by the results. We're seeing interest across all industries and around the world. The process industry has seen many clients who have engaged with Smart Plant Construction to improve construction. Likewise, when you look at mining, the mining industry has also seen the great opportunity here by effectively planning people and resources and process how they can improve efficiency and assure the delivery of their capital investment. Now, it doesn't stop there. Even the power industry. Many people think that the power industry is very simplified and maybe doesn't have so many problems, but they actually have very similar idle wait time problems as all of the other industry construction projects. And we're seeing power industry contractors begin to focus on this. And then finally, offshore and marine is no different. It's a very basic concept, getting all the right resources, the people, materials, and process at the right point and the right time so that people can execute effectively. So we've seen some great examples like Fluor, one of the largest constructors in the world, engaging on smart plant construction so that they can begin to streamline their execution and improve their execution efficiency. Likewise, in the offshore and marine space, clients like Sapura Quintana have engaged with smart plant construction to ensure the efficiency of their yard operations so that they have less idle and wait time and become more efficient at executing their projects for their clients. And then finally, if you look at the energy space, Ansaldo Energia is a leader there. They are working on a very large project out in Egypt. As you can imagine, it's not very connected, the infrastructure is sketchy, and that actually means that detailed planning up front becomes even more critical. And so we're very proud to be working with them on their project. And then, last but not least, in the mining industry is Vale. You've seen a couple of videos, I think, already about our work with them. Vale is doing some impressive work down in Brazil, and I'd like to show you just a little bit more because I think you'll be so impressed by it. This is a picture of the mine that they are putting in place. This is the largest iron ore project in the world. It is a massive 4 billion ton reserve with approximately 2/3 ferrous ore content. So this is a very large, very productive iron ore mine. But it is many, many, many miles away from any highway, road, or dock. So this actually turns out to be a rail project. It's a very exciting project in that it's going to be a truckless mine. So in other words, they're going to use shovels, conveyors, and rail to transport all of this stuff several hundred kilometers so that they can bring their product to the dock. This railway project means that we have to plan in detail by rail segment to ensure that construction goes effectively and they can finish their project on time. This is called the S11D, or Sarasul project. It involves over 700 kilometers of railway have to be put in place in order to make this project work. So they have railway all the way from the mine site, the truckless mine site, all the way up to the port where they will eventually load and sell the iron ore that is being produced. All of this work is being done and planned with smart plant construction. It's a massive project, as you can imagine. It has a value of approximately $20 billion. So it's a very large iron ore project, and when it's done, will be one of the most impressive iron ore mines in the world as a result of the truckless technology they're deploying. All of this is being done where we use smart plant construction, and they're planning by rail segment to ensure that they have the right people and the right materials and the right tools at the right time. Because they're operating out in the middle of the jungle. You can look on a map, all of this is very wild area, and so it's critical that they show up to the job site with every single thing that they need and ready to work. Otherwise, they'll have idle and wait time. I think Luis Andreda said it best when he talked about our work with them in smart plant construction. They really see this as a critical piece of their work process to assure effective delivery of that project, and we are very proud to be working with such an aggressive and innovative company like Vale.
Thanks, Patrick. That is really impressive what they're doing with smart plant construction. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about materials. We've made some great strides this last year, and we're working on some exciting things that I'd like to share about. Smart plant materials is used by over 400 clients worldwide. About $200 million worth of material are managed through smart plant materials every single day. Every one of these customers interfaces with a lot of different suppliers to get pipes, valves, pumps, tanks, steel, and all the other items that they need. There's a lot of complex information flowing back and forth. Unfortunately, a lot of the times, this is in paper and on emails that can give the wrong information at the wrong time. Well, we've solved that problem with our supplier portal, providing direct access. And so suppliers and subcontractors can update their own data to ensure that it's accurate and up to date. We're excited today to announce that Smart Plant Materials is being given a new user interface that's much easier and simpler with improved performance. Now, Smart Plant Materials has great functionality, but sometimes it's a little complex. Working with our key customers, we've looked at their work processes, We've executed usability tests in a real-world environment. We're reviewing the potential designs and layouts with them on a regular basis to shape a new user experience and revolutionize the way that you manage materials. For example, in site receiving, we have lots of different screens that are being consolidated into one single workflow and task-oriented environment. This will give us a simple and intuitive and much easier user experience. But you know, user experience is not just about making things pretty or working on existing tasks and making them simpler. It's also about the responsiveness of the system. And so we're focusing on performance and responsiveness. Projects are getting bigger and bigger with lots of data that needs to be managed on every agreement or package. And so the system allows you to search tens of thousands of items and bring back instantly just those few that you want to work on. And then, just like we talked about earlier in the schematics world, it's much like Excel. And so you can filter, sort, and copy and paste bulk data. The progress on this is going along very, very well. And we're focusing on these high priority areas as driven by our customers. And we're working toward a release next year. One of the key things that our customers said was don't change the database. Make it so that we can work on the existing system and the new system and make the transition easy. And so we're doing that. We're working really closely with these industry leaders to ensure that we provide an efficient workflow and a task-oriented user experience that's right for the industry. I'd encourage you not to miss a session today at 3:30 where Chiyoda Corporation of Japan is going to talk about their experience with the software so far and their high expectations for the future.
Thank you, Charles. Now I'd like to change subjects just a little bit and talk about something that some of you may not think is quite so fascinating, and that's pipe spool fabrication. I'm going to be talking to you about a new product, or at least a product that many of you are not familiar with, called SpoolGen Plus, that helps with this. Now, I think most of you probably understand intuitively the basic process of creating pipe spools, which is you buy a whole bunch of pipe, then you have some people weld it all together, and you ship it out to the site and you erect it, right? And that all seems pretty easy at first. However, when you start layering on some of the other challenges, like all of the different engineering standards, quality assurance standards, project schedule requirements, priority and sequencing needs, then it starts to become a bit more complex. It even gets worse. There's a wide array of documentation, all paper documentation done manually, that's required in order to enable this basic process to deliver spools and have them be constructed effectively and be accepted by the client. And so as a result of all of that other stuff that surrounds that, you could have people who are very good welders and very good fabricators, but they may still fail at the job unless all of these other things are taken care of. Now, just to review for those of you who are not familiar, with our traditional approach, someone starts with a 3D model, a contractor, and they would issue something called an issued for construction isometric to a fabricator. Now, many of you, if you're in a large EPC, that may be where the world ends for you, but I'd like to show you a little bit about what happens on the other side of that IFC isometric. The first thing that happens is it's usually given to some sort of a fabrication specialist who manually marks up those isometrics to indicate where the spools should be broken and an array of other fabrication remarks that are needed in order to detail out what the welder should do. We've already introduced the risk of error just by having someone do this manually, a person who on some days could get sick and doesn't show up or could get overloaded. So we've introduced the risk of error by having a person in the middle of that all the time. Now, the problem gets worse from there. Usually those manual markups are given to drafters who then redraft. So we already had an isometric, if you remember, in a drawing. And then they manually redraft that in a 2D CAD system like AutoCAD or MicroStation or SmartSketch. So that they draft out all the individual spools so that they can track the spools separately from the isometric. This increases the opportunity for more errors, and it's a very manual task, which requires several hours of work in order to do. That's where we initially rolled out SmartPlant SpoolGen. because we can automate the creation of all those spool drawings. And we've demonstrated this with many clients who are very happy and loyal, and we've reduced a lot of errors as a result, so that clients that use SmartPlant SpoolGen have a higher quality product at the end with less mistakes and more predictability in their delivery. However, that's only part of the problem, these spool drawings. There's a wide array of other documentation that's required to get those spools to the site. We have to pay attention to industry requirements, work prep, post-weld heat treat processes, non-destructive testing processes and documentation, as well as a lot of welding documentation and plans. All of this requires a lot of rules, and all of this can be automated so that instead of the specialist doing it every time manually, we can begin to automate that so that that specialist can really focus on the right thing. It's better, we think, if that specialist focuses on writing the rules and configuring them in the system rather than creating a lot of manual documentation. So, which is what happens today with welding and non-destructive testing. So by using SmartPlant SpoolGen Plus, we can take all the hours that a specialist would spend indicating and documenting that manually, and we can now automate that. Using the rules that have been programmed into the system by the specialist, we have automatic creation of a tremendous amount of documentation, and we've got a much clearer history of what was done and much clearer view on progress, so we can do good progress tracking. This helps the fabricator meet obligations and provides great traceability for them. Now, many of you are probably not familiar with just how incredible the documentation is for just a single spool. The fabricators we talk to tell us that depending on the job requirements, there are anywhere from 10 to 20 supporting documents per spool that have to be created in addition to the spool drawing. So you can do the math pretty quickly. If there's 2 to 5 spools per isometric, you're talking 20 to 100 manual documents that have to be created for every single spool that's shipped and received on site. And that's where SpoolGen Plus comes into play. Most of that can be automated using rules and automation in the system. We can make that we can really leverage the knowledge of that specialist to make them more productive and make the company more productive as a result. Now, there's one thing to talk about this from a theory point of view, but what's most important is what clients say. Andrei Kosel of IMR Hamburg said it best when he said they're saving 10 hours per isometric by using SpoolGen Plus. And they intend to incorporate that on all of the work going forward. And that's the kind of productivity that really matters.
HxGN have a large fleet of operating assets which are in operation for many years. Maintaining the integrity of the design information on the assets is a critical requirement to ensure that the assets continue to perform optimally throughout their extended life. Well, we've made the decision to move our asset document and data to a system that enables integration of our design processes and configuration control processes. This should enable our operating assets to align the real design-based information with the asset information as used by maintainers. The same approach will be implemented on our new build projects with a specific focus to achieve a well-integrated data-centric design environment that will form part of the handover requirements of assets to our operating units.
So now let's talk about SmartPlant Fusion, which is one of our newer products, and the challenge of managing unstructured information. By unstructured, I'm really talking about unintelligent formats like scanned documents, PDFs, images that are scattered around in unofficial storage locations in your offices. Information that's actually shared informally, and that creates a lot of duplicates and outdated versions. Some documents actually only exist probably in paper format. Managing unstructured information is a challenge that's shared by both EPCs and owners. The EPCs have to deal with the continuous flow of information from suppliers, contractors, and vendors. Tens of thousands of documents on a particular project which have to be validated each time. They have to be organized and set up for eventual handover to the owner. And then the brownfield operators also have to deal with that legacy information. Number one, they get it from the contractors or from their EPCs after the design is complete. Then they have documents that get created over the decade of that facility's life cycle as things continue to change. And the question is always, that has to be answered, is which documents actually reflect the current configuration? we wanted to know just how widespread the problem was of unstructured data, so we did sponsor a survey of about 200 process industry professionals. And I want to share with you just a couple of the statistics, some of the things that we learned. There are several of them, but these two are pretty powerful. The first was that over half admitted to spending 20% or more of their total time per week finding and validating plant information. Now, at a minimum, that is 1 day out of every week of lost time. Some even told us that they spent 80% of their time doing this. And the most critical to each of us, and certainly the one that made me uncomfortable, was that over 60% said that they lacked confidence in their ability to find information should an emergency situation occur. Now, that is scary for all of us, right? So that's one of the reasons we created Smart Plant Fusion, and that's to help you get control of all of that unstructured information. I want to share with you some information that we got from a major EPC in Canada that just deployed Smart Plant Fusion on a project where they were trying to get everything together for a handover. One of the things that they said is that they were able to reduce the time spent in getting all of this information together, the tags and documents together, by 90%. Okay, they were up and running in just under 6 weeks, and they said they actually paid for the system with only 5,000 documents, and there were about 14,000, I think, on this particular project. So it truly is a breakthrough solution that rapidly finds, captures, and organizes all of those large volumes of unstructured information that you have. It will help you choose the best master by eliminating the duplicates and outdated versions that we know exist in your projects and plants today. Smart Plant Fusion automatically extracts the intelligence and establishes links between those documents. It provides a really nice, intuitive navigation using 3D models or high-definition surveys or just tagged information. It provides a single point of access for all of your plant information. And nicely enough, it makes it very easy to find that information should that emergency situation occur. Fusion deploys in a matter of weeks. Like I said, they had it in production in less than 6 weeks. It's used by EPCs and owners alike, and it's going to help you achieve some really significant business value. So I hope if you have not heard of it yet, this is something you want to check out.
Thanks, Melanie. You know, some of our customers are actually looking at using Fusion in the cloud. Right. I'd like to talk a little bit about what we've been working on with Smart Plant Cloud. A couple of years ago, I shared with you our plans for what we were going to do with Smart Plant Cloud. And last year, we've built out the infrastructure. We've done extensive testing with Shell and with other engineering contractors. I'd just like to take a second and congratulate Egbert Stout, who received the award yesterday from Ola and Gerhard on shaping change. They've made a huge impact in our industry working with us. Now, in 2014, we're growing and we're resourced and we're running structured processes that will ensure a successful service delivery. We have data centers in New York, Dublin, and Tokyo, and we're expanding these into South America, the Middle East, India, and Australia as you need them for projects and work locations. Some of our largest customers are already using the cloud, and others have tested the service and given us very positive feedback. In fact, 21 companies from 12 countries have accessed the system in the last 12 months. From the UK, US, Holland, India, Japan, and Italy. Each and every day, people access Smart Plant Cloud from their individual locations to collaborate and utilize Intergraph's suite of applications in the cloud. The service is proactively monitored 24 hours a day using sophisticated software that automatically checks for any issues, and dashboards with people looking from the data center at what the potential problems might be, or the Smart Plant Cloud personnel, making sure that the system performs well and stays going. We've completed extensive testing in these critical areas. of Smart Plant Foundation, Smart 3D, instrumentation, P&ID, and others. These tests were conducted using automated scripts covering a lot of different tasks, from up to 250 simultaneous virtual users in Huntsville accessing the cloud's data center in Dublin. We're really encouraged by the results that show that less than 5% of the change has happened, that we've had less than 5% change as we ramp up from 1 to 250 users. And we've only had a few seconds of variation when we continuously run those tests over 48 hours. This proves that the system is scalable for today's project requirements.
If we don't provide that fast, responsive support, project team members, whether they tell you or not, will often default to a manual mode of execution, or they won't use the tools to the extent that they're able. And so we don't gain that benefit. You know, none of us win when that happens. It's really up to us to provide that fast response, a complete response to any issues that arise during project execution. And Intergraph luckily has been there with us to help provide that support. And Smart Support is one of those tools that we rely on to provide that to our projects.
So all of us at Intergraph, starting with Gerhard, believe that having great support after the sale and during the lifetime of your using our products is critical to our business success, just as it is to yours. This is why this year we rolled out our new online Smart Support website that has a knowledge base that is rated #1 by Gartner in the industry. It's available 24/7 because that's how you execute your projects. And so, you know, if you've ever had one of those late nights when you're by yourself and you just can't remember how to do things, but you're up against some deadlines, like I was with PowerPoint this past week, then you're not alone. The Smart Support online knowledge base is there for you. As you enter your question, it's going to be providing you with the top-rated answers as you type. So this is going to allow you to concentrate on a lot more important things like getting the job done and getting it done correctly, and getting home. So in addition to a great knowledge base, Smart Support now runs on a desktop and a mobile device. You can subscribe to notifications so you can get notified if we have any critical updates or hot fixes that might be of interest to you. You can also get some downloads. So we have performance tools that are out there, the work process documents that I talked about earlier, they're all available on the Smart Support website. We always continue to add content, new symbols, things like that on the website. So it's a pretty important place to go and just check out and see what all is new and happening there. And of course, you can get real answers by using our knowledge base. We're continuously updating that. We're updating it with information that you provide us on LinkedIn and things like that. I hope you'll take the opportunity this week to check into Smart Support if you haven't used it and see how it can help you further your business.
Thank you, Melanie. You know, technology doesn't make a difference unless it's delivered effectively and deployed. And that's why we've started to focus not just on our technology, but also on our services that are provided to help you deploy and get the return on your investment quickly and effectively per your expectations. Since for the last several years, we've seen a steady growth in demand for our services in order to do these things. And obviously, I mean, our business is becoming more complicated, both because projects are becoming more complicated and also because people are becoming more advanced with the use of technology and how it's used in these large mega projects. One of the things that our services management did was implement a global methodology that would be standard across the world so they could all work together and have similar communication, called the Global Professional Services Methodology, or GPSM. It's really pretty straightforward, and all it does is it makes sure that we have alignment with client expectations, working team scope, and our quality assurance programs in the final delivery back to the client in order that we meet expectations, which is pretty straightforward. We implemented this a couple of years ago, but we waited to start marketing it until we could show you the results. Client satisfaction surveys show us that we're making a difference with this focus on our services quality in order to deliver more effectively and meet expectations on a more predictable basis. And we really appreciate all the clients that have worked with us in order to augment and hone this process. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about you, and specifically some of the entries that we had for golden valve and platinum pipe. So right now we're going to talk just about a couple of the big winners in this area. The first one we'll talk about is Best in Show. This is from ECM SA Projetos Industrias of Brazil. If you go down to the show floor and look, you'll see this is a spectacular visualization of one of their 3D models, and all the judges that saw it were really impressed. So a quick, please, a round of applause for ECM SA Projetos. Next, I'd like to show you the winner of our Platinum Pipe Award. So that's a Platinum Pipe Automation Award in Engineering and Schematics, and that goes to Snurdy of China, who used automation to begin automating much of the manual things they were doing in smart plant instrumentation. Please give me a quick round of applause for Snurdy. Thank you. By the way, we've had many entries into these awards, and I can tell you our judges were quite tired and almost afraid to say the winner for fear of dealing with the disappointment, but we do appreciate all of the entries that were put in. Finally, I'd like to call attention to the winner of the 3D Platinum Pipe Automation Award, and that goes to Promon Engenharia, also of Brazil. So a quick round of applause for Promon. Thank you. And thanks to all of you who made entries. Our judges were really impressed at some of the things that are being done with our technology. Go out to the expo floor and you can learn more about many of those. And now in closing, I'd like to simply close with a quote from my boss, our president, Gerhard. And I let you know that we never, ever will forget our rule number one, anyone in Intergraph, which is we never, ever let a customer down. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Where's the music?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Engineering information is a valuable asset. Engineering information can save lives, accelerate revenue, and protect your license to operate while reducing your capital expenditure and operating costs. How do we generate high-quality engineering information from large plants that have been operating for decades, where the existing engineering information is often unstructured and paper-based? Wednesday, 8 a.m., The Arena. How do we generate high-quality engineering information during complex and large capital projects when thousands of engineers, contractors, and suppliers are collaborating and work is going on 24/7 in multiple locations around the world? Thursday, 8 a.m., The Arena.